Good morning to everyone. And the answer is good morning. All of us have difficulties in our lives at different times for different reasons. And all of us have to face difficulties and try to find solutions. But one of the things that I'm constantly aware of are the two words, faith and belief. And those two words, for me, working with the spirit world, are very important. I've always got to feel I've got the faith that there's somebody somewhere in the background keeping an eye on me, keeping me on the straight and the narrow, and reminding me of the purpose I have in life as a spiritualist, as a minister of religion, as a medium, and as a human being. I've got that faith that for me moves mountains within me. But I've also got this belief, and the belief can be stronger than the faith, in the sense of I have this belief that when I die, I don't. I have this belief system that has been supported over many years to confirm that when I die, I don't. So this idea that I might pass away, I might meet the Russian medium. You know who the Russian medium is? His name is Popov. I might pop off to the other side. I've never had any fear of that. On a number of times, because of my bad lifestyle, because of not being always a good boy in life, I've had things wrong with me, from heart attacks to strokes to all of those things. All of these things, not the spirit world's fault. All of these things, my fault for my imperfections. But in facing death a number of times in those situations, I've always known that it's okay. But the strange thing is, the spirit world seemed to have taken one look at me and said, nah, don't send him here. Do everything you can to keep him in this world for a little while longer. And maybe in that time he can improve a little bit. Because all of us are in a position where we're open to improvement. All of us are in that situation, that we should get out of criticism of things, and we should get into the curiosity of things. And by getting into the curiosity of things, and those things being as much people as circumstances, trying to understand as best as we can how people get themselves into the situations that they do. And then I often think to myself, and that's painful when you think to yourself, I often think to myself, there for the grace of God go I. That our lives could easily have turned out differently if we'd allowed ourselves to take those directions. So in life, some things we do have choices on. Some things we seem like we don't have choices on because the situation overcomes us. But what's not important is the situation overcomes us. What's important is the way that we deal with it, the way that we manage it, the way that we find solutions to better understand it. And I hear people all around, because I trail around Europe in terms of what I'm doing, and I hear people talking about how bad this world is. No, I don't believe the world is bad. I believe people can be misguided. I believe people can be misled. I believe people can be ignorant as to what their choices are. And so I see part of my job is to inform, not to criticize, not to force, not to coerce, but to inform people that there are other possibilities out there if they want to embrace them. And one of the things I find that limits a lot of people's decision making is the culture. They get inbred with a culture and an environment that takes people's thinking in one direction, and they're not always as open to other thoughts in other directions. So my little bit of philosophy is, well, if you think you can, and if you think you cannot, then you're correct. You're correct. So our objectives in our day-to-day routines is always to have this belief system that we can. Have this belief system that with effort, we can bring about change. I always think of my grandfather, whom I was named after, and his wife was quite a famous medium. Well, she was certainly famous in Scotland, and she was famous in Canada, but she was quite a famous medium. And he didn't believe a word of any of it. And he was never happy if she spoke about it. And he always used to use words, I won't use his exact words, but it was words to the effect of what a lot of rubbish. And he never engaged with her in any of those things that was her passion, which was mediumship. And then shortly before he passed away, he started to ask her about it. He started to ask her what it was like to be dead. He started to ask her about transitioning into the next dimension of life, what he might expect in the next dimension of life. And he started in his latter years to have a curiosity. I'm not going to use the word interest, but a curiosity about those things. And then very shortly thereafter, he passed away very suddenly. And I often think, how much was the spiritual world in the background kicking his ass and kind of saying to him, waking up and smell the flowers, waking up to the things of life and the things of death. And he did that. And I always think with people like my grandfather, there could come a time, it's open, where everybody can be touched by the Spirit. Everybody can be stimulated in the curiosity of things, no matter what your culture is, no matter what your background is. Everybody can be touched by the Spirit, but only if you're open to recognize it. And therein is the trick. If you're not open, you're not appreciating the fact that it's there. If you are open, you can be aware of it functioning in your life, and it can change you. If you'd said to me when I was in my teens that I would function as a medium, I thought you were crazy, because all I was interested in being was an engineer. That was my focus, because I came from a family of engineers. There was a tradition there. And now I realize today, we should all be open to change. Change is not a bad thing if we can see the positivity in it. So in your life, with your friends, your family, your associations, how much are you prepared to change towards them? Not expecting them to change towards you, but how much are you prepared to change towards them? And to be a living example of the things you say to people that you believe in. It's easy to say you believe in something, but it's much more difficult to live it out and to be a living example of it that other people can look at and other people can learn from. And so the thought for today is the only thing that's constant in life is change. That's the only thing that's constant. Nothing stays the same. And it just becomes a question of how do we adapt to the change? How do we manage the change? And how do we use the change to benefit other people round about us? So change management is about the only thing in life you can look forward to. And then what comes out of that change management is the benefits of that change. Thank you very much.